guys, it's Joselle and welcome back to my channel. So first off, is my outfit giving 90s? By the way, this video is a class assignment, so by the time you see this video, I would have gotten my grade, and I really hope it's gonna give me an A. I hope it's gonna be an A. But I decided to do a little bit of 90s or whatever. Like, this is the Janet Jackson, giving Miss Janet Jackson par, She definitely did it better than me. Like, obviously she did it better than me, but I tried my best with what I had. This is African print, it's not like hers, but I did my best. I have the big hoop earrings, right? I have the graphic tee. I don't really have graphic tees, but Black women matter, period. God is dope t-shirt, purr. And then my overalls. But yeah, this is a class assignment, so you guys just still watch it and enjoy it. And if you do enjoy it, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're new here. Anyway, let's get on with the assignment. Right. Let's talk about hip-hop. What exactly is hip-hop? Hip-hop is an African-American music genre that first originated in New York. So back when hip-hop started, when you thought of hip-hop, you thought of New York. Hip-hop has so many different elements, but specifically jazz is one of the biggest influences of hip-hop. When Southern artists started making hip-hop music, there was a bit of a divide, right? The ones in the North said, hey, we created this is our sound. You can't take our sound. The ones in the South said, hey, it's music. Let us take a little piece of it. Let us have a part in this hip-hop genre as well. And they had two completely different sounds. But Southern hip-hop was not given the respect that Northern hip-hop was. People just did not care about Southern hip-hop until Outkast came about. Even when Outkast was there, they still was not trying to hear nothing that Outkast had to say. Like, they were not trying to hear it at all. But Outkast really revolutionized what hip-hop is today, and they made their imprint. And now a lot of people think of Atlanta and the South as a place of hip-hop. Hip-hop has a huge impact on the South for many different reasons. Hip-hop has impacted the South based off of race, identity, and our trauma post-civil rights era. We know that the South was all about the Confederacy, right? The South really wanted their slaves. The North did too. Don't get it twisted. The North did want them slaves, but the South really didn't want to give it up. If you get what I'm trying to say, they really didn't want to give it up. And so by the time civil rights came around, everyone was just like, oh, the South is just racist, the worst. The North is progressive, right? The South was holding on tight. They didn't want to let go. And so after civil rights, the South was really written off. No one was really trying to mess with the South. And so the way that Southern hip hop brought us together based on race is because we had something that was finally ours. For centuries and centuries and centuries, it was all about the white man. It was all about massa. It was all about trying to be free and trying to be seen as a person. Though we created all these genres of music, we created jazz, we created blues, we created gospel, we created rock and roll, we created basically everything. Though we created all these genres of music, we weren't allowed to participate in those genres of music. When you first think of the genre of rock and roll, who do you think of? It's most likely going to be Elvis Presley. But though he's the king of rock and roll, he's not the father of rock and roll. Because the father of rock and roll is Chuck Berry, a black man. Because so many genres were created by African Americans, black people, yet we were pushed out of our own genre. So for the first time, we had a genre that was ours, one that we could call our own, one that no one else could come and put their footprint on, one that is for black people, for us, by us, FUBU, right? Period. And so to me, finally having a genre that we created and wasn't taken by anyone else was how we were able to grow together. Not only did Southern hip hop bring us together as a race, it also gave us our own identity. Like I said, hip hop was created in the North, in New York. So if you thought of hip hop, you thought of New York, like Queen Latifah, right? We love Queen Latifah here, right? Living a single. My favorite show. I have a living single poster literally right here. I'm obsessed. But Southern hip hop allowed us to have an identity outside of the Confederacy. When you thought of the South, you only thought of the Confederate flag. Even in Outkast's album, Southernplayalisticadillacmuzik, did I say that right? Hope I did. Even in that album, they have an interlude called Welcome to Atlanta. And in that interlude, the person says that the Confederate flag is still flying high. So even then, when this album was made in 1994, the Confederate flag was still flying high. And guess what? It's still flying high today. It's still flying high today. Even me. I've lived here in the South my entire life. If I drive outside 5 minutes, I see a Confederate flag. Why is it still up? Let's take it down, guys. Let's take it down already. But for the longest time, the South was all about the Confederacy. That's all anybody even cared about when it came to the South. And so now they see that, oh, Atlanta, they're trying to become the new Motown of the South. They're trying to become the Black Mecca. Like, they're trying to take over a genre that was meant for New York. They weren't having that. But when Outkast came about, Outkast really, the way they just changed hip-hop, the way they just changed the industry, did so many different things that people have not seen yet when it came to hip-hop. And just probably even music in general. general. And so they came in and they said, y'all can have your New York hip hop, but we're gonna bring it down here to the South and have our Southern hip hop. And that gave us an identity. That allowed Atlanta to place their foot in the world and say, hey, I know the South, yes, we get it, Confederacy, we understand, yeah, there's a flag right there, but like, listen, we're not part of that South. We're trying to make a whole new South. And along with that, Southern hip hop also allowed us to heal from the trauma that we had suffered. We all have collective trauma. But one of the biggest things that defined the South, and specifically Atlanta, is Atlanta child murders. From 1979 to 1981, 29 black children were killed in Atlanta. People were terrified to leave their houses. Parents didn't want their kids going to school, let alone even outside. They didn't know who this person was. And even though Wayne Williams is in jail for life, people still don't think that he worked alone. So during that 2-year time frame, all you thought about Atlanta was the child murders. And even after that, for years and years and years after that, up into the 90s, when you think of Atlanta, the first thing you would think about were the Atlanta child murders. The Atlanta child murders defined the South for so long. Atlanta needed something else to be defined by. Outkast changed the game for Atlanta and the South as a whole. Outkast and Southern hip hop in general showed that Atlanta is more than just a place where the children were murdered. It showed that there is talented artists here in Atlanta and we deserve to be heard. It showed that Atlanta was doing its best to move away from the past and become new, to be the great city that it is today, and it will continue to be. Southern hip hop allowed for us to heal from that trauma. Once Atlanta moved from being all about the Confederacy to being all about the child murders to then being all about Southern hip hop, it allowed for us to heal from that trauma. Because we were no more the city that people were killed in. The place where we fought to keep slavery legal. We were a place full of talented artists who were ready to make a change, not only the South, but the entire world. Now, if you look at Atlanta, you can see so many up-and-coming artists that are making their footprint in the music industry. But also, Atlanta is starting to become like the second Hollywood. So many projects are being filmed here because there's so much talent here. There's so many people here that are trying to make a way. And Southern hip hop really opened doors for that. If it wasn't for Outkast and all the other rappers that came from Atlanta, Atlanta would still be looked at as a place of the Confederacy. It would still be looked at as a place where so many young children were killed and murdered. But because they worked hard and showed that Atlanta is a force to be reckoned with, we're here today. But anyway, that is all I have for you today. Hope you enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up. I hope I did well on this project. If not, I'm gonna cry. Like I said, this is a video project for one of my classes, but if you enjoyed this video and want to see more videos like this from me, let me know and I'll definitely put some out. Like, just let me know what kind of things you want me to talk about, you know? I'm a junior in college and I'm minoring in African Diaspora Studies, aka Black Studies, so there's quite a bit of things I could talk about. So if you guys want me to do some more videos like this, just let me know. Subscribe to my channel if you're new here. Give me a thumbs up. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Right.